Welcome to a Chart Nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing the likes of HBAR against the USDT on its weekly time frame. Now before I start, this video is not financial advice and is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. However, I hope you do enjoy the content. Right, so looking at HBAR on the weekly time frame, the last 6 weeks have been extremely fruitful and we've broken out of key levels of resistance, previous resistance, and a very large accumulation range actually that I'm going to show you guys shortly. And we've seen a 866% move, an 8.6x, guys. So fantastic signs here for HBAR. Now I'm going to show you why it's sort of pulled back this week, albeit considered that the rest of the market, many altcoins are having some sorts of correction. Majority of the market has seen some blood today, and this was to be expected through December. A lot of altcoins have run up ridiculous numbers and have some have broken all-time highs, some have rallied into key resistance on the way to all-time highs on their macro lows and have seen really impulsive moves, which is really good signs. But I think that we are still sort of in the midst of the middle of this correction with Bitcoin and altcoins, and I think that over the next couple of weeks we do need to be cautious, albeit considered. Again, we have had an 8.6x over the last 6 weeks. Fantastic, guys. Now I'm going to show you where I think HBAR is running into as resistance right now, and it's a fib level that we're going to get on from its local low this cycle back in December of 2022, retracing back to the all-time high. You'll notice that the 0786 has been met as resistance as of this and last week at 32 cents. Now this I think is relatively normal, and we have impulsively broken through previous key levels of resistance that we needed to reclaim. Now I think I released an upload on HBAR about 3 weeks ago, and we were sitting underneath this 050 resistance, and I won't lie to you guys, I thought at this point we was going to come for a pullback and then go for the breakout, but what's happened is HBAR's just smashed through it 3 weeks later. So very impulsive thus far. Now another reason why I think we've run into this level of resistance on the fib and at this price of 32 cents is because of the RSI. So if you look at the RSI very quickly, let me just get these off. What you'll notice is we have run into a key level of resistance in the RSI. So we've got these peaks, these two peaks. Now the last time that HBAR was at this sort of level in the RSI on the weekly time frame was back in March 2021, where it started to put in this bearish divergence where you had these higher highs in price but you had these lower highs in the RSI, which is a bearish divergence, and this is where we started the sort of crash into the bear market into 2022. From that bearish divergence was the last time that we saw HBAR in the RSI at these prices, or these levels should I say, reaching at levels of 88. So the weekly RSI is very overheated. The 786 has been met as resistance, but I think this is just the start of the journey onto higher targets here for HBAR. But I do think the next couple of weeks we do need to be cautious, just in case we do see some sort of pullback on Bitcoin or the overall market, or if Bitcoin dominance rises and Bitcoin continues, who knows what could happen going into the later part of December into Q1 2025. But to keep us covered, I think key levels of support here that we could look for before pushing onto higher targets, which I will discuss in a second. I think if we pull back from this 786, what would be really sort of handy would be if we could sort of come back and backtest this previous level of resistance on the 050. So if we could see some sort of maybe an A, B, C correction over the next sort of couple of weeks, or if we could come back down even within the next couple of weeks or leading into next year and then find support, I think we could start to see this eventual breakout and push on for HBAR later into Q1 2025. So really and truly, it would just be nice to, once you break out of levels of resistance, we've smashed through it, ran into a key level of resistance, come back for a key level of support, look for continuation of the trend back onto higher targets, and eventually retracing back to the all-time high at 58 cents. Now I think HBAR is showing extremely good signals for breaking out of this resistance, and as you can see, I was speaking about this sort of accumulation range because this was previous support here. We lost that support in April 2022, and you can see that ever since we lost it, we were just stuck in this sort of zone. We had support in the 0.03/4 region, sort of multiple points of contact in this zone down here throughout the bear markets, and even as of recent in November, before this impulsive breakout. And I think that it was just getting really compressed for the last couple of years, very similarly to what happened here in where was we, September 2019 to 2021. You can see, albeit consider I haven't got the rest of it here, and we did have some sort of V-shaped recovery here, but majority of the time it was sideways for a couple of years, and then the breakout happened. Right now it's been sideways for a couple of years, the breakouts happened. So I think it's very normal to run into this level of resistance right now, and I wouldn't be too disheartened if you do see quite a sharp pullback towards maybe 20 cents could even hold, because we had this previous level of support here in the past that did eventually get lost, but it was support for a few weeks back in 2022. So the fact that we've broken above that, could we come back to that, which is 20 cents? You can see if we just come along here, it does sit at 20 cents. So even if we could see a pullback to 20 cents and then just get the massive breakout here, really impulsive, leading into Q1 2025, and I think that's where, if we do start to take out this all-time high at 58 cents, then I think the sort of euphoric target is a push onto $1.20 for HBAR, which has been a target of mine for quite a while now, since I've been analyzing it on the channel. So overall, that's my sort of outlooks. We do have $3.30, but that's where things start to get really impulsive, which could come into fruition. I mean, even from current prices, getting to the 1272 is another 3x roughly. But to consider where we've come from, if he was back in 6 weeks ago and looking to get to that 1272, it would be a 29x opportunity. So, you know, things have kicked into gear really quickly, and that sort of percentage gap now between here and the 1272 isn't as large as what it was 6 weeks ago, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of room for growth. I think it is meeting key resistance. The RSI is pulling back here. As long as we can come in for some sort of low, hold between 20 to 14 cents. Again, even back testing this previous resistance area for support over the next couple of weeks, if that comes into play quite quickly, I would expect a sort of really sharp recovery going into Q1 2025, leading into 2025. But nonetheless, I think minimum all-time high is possible this cycle, and retracing back to that all-time high. And if that breaks out and we go into price discovery, you've got $1.25 at the 1272, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed the content from Chart Nerd TA. Take care. Peace out.